Often what we see is not what actually it is. Most of the people who look very polite and down to earth are the same people who are actually snakes and wild bees. Nowadays, people walk around wearing a mask of goodness. We often make mistakes in recognizing people. Indeed, human life is the name of many accidents. Sometimes an unusual event in our life hit like a punch to us and has long-lasting effects in our minds. It then takes a great courage to accept that bitter reality. Today, let me tell you the incident of my life, which still makes my soul tremble. I belonged to a poor family of the town. My father was a drunkard, lazy and irresponsible man. He used to gamble and blow all the money. My mother was a servant at a club near to our house. Our household and other expenses were supported by mother's salary and we hardly ate a single meal. Once in a day, we had 2 brothers and 1 sister as we grew older. The expenses also, but my father never understood this and he was always busy with his useless activities. The elder brother used to engage in criminal activities and had bad company of robbery gang. One day he was caught committing a major theft and was put in jail. He was dishonored just like our father saying all this. We cried a lot and got upset, but it did not help. My mom got a very dangerous disease. She used to cry a lot, remembering her elder son and would often lie down in his memory and her illness worsened. Finally, one day when I got up at night to drink water, I saw that she had fallen down from the bed and was unconscious. When I tried to pick her up, I saw that she had lost her life and died. We all cried a lot but still, my father did not care. My younger sister who used to sleep in mom's lap, fainted from crying. I was thinking that if I had the money, I would have treated my mother and gotten my older brother out of jail. I then started looking for a job in order to carry out our expenses. A degree was a must for a good job, which obviously I had not. So I thought of finding a job that did not require a degree. I wanted to comfort my younger sister with education. When I got out, I realized how much a degree is needed in society. Well, I worked as a security guard outside a normal restaurant for some time, which earned me enough income to feed my younger sister and collect her school fees just like that. 4 or 5 years passed. And I did not even know that my sister had become very young. I wanted to get my sister married in a noble and good family. My sister was having keen interest in her studies. Perhaps she was not ready for the marriage. At the moment, she often engaged in group studies and late-night studies. Sometimes I called her bookworm and she got irritated. My sister's friend often used to come to our house for studies. She was very quiet and pretty. Her soft tone made her attractive. Maybe that girl was so fond of reading that she got glasses in her eyes. My sister's friend was about 5 to 6 years younger than me, but I liked her a lot and wanted to marry her. But I was just afraid that she would reject me while I kept my love in my heart and waited for the good time. Now I had a good idea about the job of security guard and put enough experience. So I wanted to go and work in a good place so that my salary would also increase. All my friends told me that there's nothing in this town. If you really want to earn pretty money, you need to go out of the city. I wanted to do this but was worried about who will stay with my sister because my father was a very irresponsible and ignorant person. Finally, I left my sister with a heavy heart at my paternal house and decided to go out of the city to earn a good income. After arriving in another city, I started to miss my hometown. But then soon started looking for a job. Soon I got a job as a security guard outside a big bungalow. I was very excited because my salary package was also good enough. They gave me some documents at the time of hiring and asked me to sign them. I signed them without reading them because I cannot read. I thought that lest they think that I was totally uneducated and not qualified for the job. I signed quietly. I was very happy for the salary. The owner of the spang seemed to be very polite and down to earth. He used to show soft corner for the servants. It seemed that he was not a human but a walking god like other rich people. He stayed away from vine and disco parties, but he was very fond of smoking, often going to the roofs and smoking for several hours. There was a special shelter in his banga where he used to bring needy and orphan girls, feed them, clothe them, get them married and take care of them. Seeing all this made me believe that even today, there are good people in this world who feel for others. Everyone praised him and sang songs of his goodness. 2 or 3 months went by and I considered myself very lucky to be employee of this place. Everything was going smooth. I had heard that our owner arranged for girls to get married, but I had never seen it with my own eyes. One thing that used to bother me was sneaking out of the car at night at 3:00 a.m. and sneaking back at about 3:40 p.m. when it was pitch dark all around. Often, I heard the sound of girls screaming and crying late at night. Then never think that she had woken up with a sudden fright every month. A girl with a beautiful face and body disappeared from there. I wanted to find out the real big issue, but I was strictly forbidden to go inside the bungalow. Of course, our owner was admired by everyone and did really good things. But I found the person very suspicious. There was too much death in his eyes and that I thought he was carrying another person inside him. The atmosphere of his bungalow was somewhat strange. I had probably seen such silent, sadness and atmosphere for the first time in my life, only I heard the sounds of girls screaming and crying. When I got very sad, I wanted to talk to my younger sister. But due to the lack of signal, I had very little contact with my sister. I missed the face of my sister's friend as well. I wanted to tell her that I love her so much, but I couldn't connect with her. I often listened to sad songs in her memory. My salary was very good there. But in this atmosphere of sadness, my heart was very nervous hearing the high-pitched screams of the girls. My heart began to cry. I wanted to ask the reason for their screaming. Well, I for sure agreed that their parents were not in this world anymore. But what is the hidden matter behind this high-pitched, painful screaming? One day I asked one of the old mates there about these girls and she looked at me with wide eyes and said, "Stay in your limits. You have no right to ask such things, do your job." Now, I felt kind of awkward after her perplexing behavior. So finally, one night, I decided that when the car came out at 3 o'clock, I would definitely look inside the car to know the matter. When the car entered the bungalow, I saw that they were having black covers to home. Glasses of window were fully covered inside the car. I tried to look but I could not see anything. I did not understand the purpose of having black windows in this dark night. I was very surprised and thought about this creepy thing for a long time. There must have been something good that people were hiding from me because the situation was getting very strange day by day. Then I started to think that probably my owner was doing some illegal work like smuggling. I wanted to know about my owner's family. But whoever I asked would shut me up and say such questions are forbidden here. Some would say that since the owner's family was badly killed in an incident, they have been busy doing such good deeds. I felt both a pain and a sadness in the screams of the girls. I felt that something was wrong but I couldn't do anything, even if I wanted to. I started missing my younger sister as I was having no contact with her. I also wanted to meet her friend. I was almost done 4 months here. So I thought that I should take a week's leave and go to my home and meet my sister. When I asked my senior about leave, they strictly replied that I could not go from there before 1.5 years. It's our policy and clearly mentioned in the document. I became very angry and emotional. So they looked at me with sarcasm that, "Have you signed the document yourself?" I felt I was trapped in a strange. I wanted to go out because I did not understand the environment here. Every girl there was so beautiful that one could not take ice off from their bodies, were as curvy and sexy as those of the women featured in the exhibition. Seeing their beautiful bodies would make our mouth watered. They seemed to be a fairy to be seen only once. But seeing the sadness and fear on their faces were very heartening. Finally, The night reached when was indeed the most scary and unforgettable night for me. It was a winter night on the 6th of December. It was a very dark night. Suddenly the wind started blowing and the clouds started thundering very quickly. And after a few time it started raining heavily. The weather had turned very bad and there was a gloomy atmosphere in the area. And in the blow, I had often heard that there is a peace where people do help and support others by the grace of God. But this was a place where there was a restlessness and sadness all around. I was often afraid of it. As always in the dark night. At 3 o'clock, the car left the bungalow. I thought I just took around today to see finally inside the car, why these people talk to each other in such a suspicious manner. What is happening? Actually, I kept waiting. As soon as the car entered the bungalow, the car stopped. Perhaps the car was damaged due to the heavy rain. At that hour of the night, the old security guard was on duty and I was asked to stay in the quarters, but cars since damaged today. They also called me and I ran away because I wanted to know what's going on. Actually, what I have seen after reading this, all you guys definitely got a tremendous shock. A very beautiful girl with a veil over her face and her complexion was shining like a full moon was getting down from the car very sadly and weeping. Looking at her, I finally felt like I had definitely seen her somewhere, but her mouth was completely covered. So I could not recognize her. Only eyes were looking a little. I was watching her very carefully to recognize her. Meanwhile, suddenly her eyes fell on me and she was shocked to see me and started shaking. Her eyes widened and tears started flowing. Her eyes were as if she had fallen asleep after crying and her eyes wanted to say something to me. It looks like if she wanted to say a lot, but she cannot even say anything because she is so constrained. It was a strange sight to see one of the old maids suddenly drag her inside the shelter. As soon as I lay on my bed, this girl's eyes appeared in front of me and I thought she wanted to say something to me. I thought to forget all this and go to sleep, but all in vain. I was in high state of restlessness after seeing her condition. Finally, I decided that even if the job is lost today, I'll just get aware of things, why every girl comes here crying and there's always screaming. So I left and strictly went to the bungalow. I felt like a thief because I was walking with very light feet. I reached outside my owner's room very quietly and silently. I was hearing some strange sounds from the room. I heard that the owner was sleeping alone. But hearing that sound, I felt like there was a girl with him whom he was making out. I wanted to know, who is that girl? Because the owner has no wife and no girlfriend. So with whom he is spending the night, I suspected that it was the same girl who was looking at me while crying. I had a feeling that the girl who was very sad wouldn't agree to get intimate. She's being forced. I couldn't resist myself from helping her and quickly sneaked into my owner's room. As I walked in, I was surprised to see a bottle of wines laying on the table. They were already in a position so he couldn't see me at all, but I could see the girl here. So I got up and tried to sneak a peek at the girl. I was feeling so awkward to see this, but I couldn't understand how I could help her. It was clear that girl was being forced as she kept saying, "Please let me go and stop touching me." I took a heavy stick in my hands and thought that if the owner wanted to harm me, I would hit him with a stick. I could not see the girl's face. So I hit her on the head with a small pebble. Finally, the girl looked at me and started crying badly. Seeing her, my heart burst out and my eyes became widened. I started crying all over because this was the girl who was my love friend of my sister. I couldn't even imagine that I would even see her in this situation. She began to cry loudly after seeing me, then randomly started covering herself and then started putting pillows on her body. As soon as the owner caught sight of me, I angrily hit him with stick on the head. So I heard that he fainted and started bleeding. I dressed the girl and secretly took her outside. She was still scared and sobbing. But I tried to encourage her a lot. I did not take any package with me and I left because my love and my life are more precious to me. I chased the girl away very smartly and we went far away from the bungalow. I still can feel the horrible night. I can't believe how I got out of such horrible situation. When I asked my sister's friend how she got there, she said that her uncle to whom she used to live sold her in a good price. I realized that every girl in this shelter was actually victim and sold by someone. I know that he was a very strong person from all perspective, and he'll definitely go to find me, take my life, so I already went to the police station and registered an FIR against him, informed the police about his bad deeds. It was so that the rest of the helpless girls could be helped. I am now living a good life in a distant city and have married my sister's friend, and I also got my sister married in a very nice place. Investigation is going on against that dishonored person. I hope her best. I request you. Please don't judge anyone just by they seem good and pious. What do you think should be the